All right, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit of mostly politics. We're going to be talking about Joe Biden actually doing things. He's like making legislation for once, like in his career, which is interesting. I want to get people's takes on student loan forgiveness. Moosh, Sierra.
Moosh, you can start.
Do it.
True. Do you think that it's a good thing that the government is like what's the word forgiving student loans?
When you say forgive student loans, you mean to erase it, right?
Yeah.
So then the question becomes, this whole generation, everything above it has their loans forgiven. What now? What are you going to do with the next generation?
That's a good point.
With the first generation, I'm all for it. Remove their loans. But what about us now?
Yeah, that's true, because we haven't gone into college. Of course, we're going to be going to college soon, but
Is it just a reset, or are you doing a different system? I would prefer the latter, not the former.
Yeah, because, like, obviously, we can't vote, so it doesn't really... They're not really looking for our vote, but whenever the election comes around again, we're going to be voting. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be trying to vote for someone that, like, doesn't put us into, like... debt for the rest of our lives. I don't want to be in debt till I'm 40. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody else does, but it's not what I want.
Wow, what do you mean? I love debt.
Debt's my favorite.
I know, right? I guess like my main takeaway is that like people that are complaining about not being able to get their loans forgiven because they don't have any, it's like, congratulations, you don't have loans. No one cares that you don't have loans.
This isn't for you. This isn't for you.
Well, it kind of just, like, yeah, literally, not everything is about you. You have the privilege to not have loans to need to be forgiven. So then why is it a problem if it's helping out someone else?
You know what? We shouldn't pay... I shouldn't have to pay for the fire department because my house doesn't catch on fire. So is it fair to me that I have to pay my taxes has to go to putting out someone else's house's fire?
Riley, as a middle-aged 40-year-old single man who lives in his basement,
That's not you.
I shouldn't have to pay for some random family's children's education
You
in
know
a
what?
public school.
You're right. You know what? I don't like this whole road thing. Why do I have to pay
I don't
for
even
that?
have a car, dude. I walk. Why do I need to pay for these people's driving? They think they're so cool in their little metallic compartments, moving places.
Why do I have to pay for roads and for infrastructure? What if I don't want buildings? I don't want buildings. Why do I have to pay for buildings?
They're so ugly. They block my view of the skyline. Like,
that's my point. I think it's stupid to make that point that that like just because you paid off your loans doesn't mean that means that other people can't have their loans forgiven. Obviously, it's not for you. And then they make the argument of like that Democrats are buying votes, and it's like, no, what they're doing is they're getting votes by doing shit. Like, that's how you get votes, is that you follow through on policy positions that you make at the beginning of your election career. Like you say, like, as I go to the stand to be like a politician and like, vote for me, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to forgive student loans. I'm going to make the minimum wage $15, which still hasn't happened. I'm really upset about that. And yada yada. But yet, and then people are like mad at you when you like fulfill the policy positions that you set out to do. It's ridiculous. And I'm not going to say that everyone that's getting mad about it hasn't done that, has done this, but a lot of people that have done this. I've been on Twitter and I've seen like the White House is doing pretty good PR right now. What they're doing is like any representative that is like that's saying that like I think this is going to hurt the deficit, or I don't think this is a good thing for our country. And like these people, they're just like quote tweeting them and being like, you had X amount of dollars forgiven in PPP loans, and it's
Yeah.
shut up. You had your loans forgiven. What are you doing? Because you get your loan forgiven means other people can't? What is this? I personally think it's ridiculous. But to your point, Moosh, what do you think should happen in the future for us in our generation? Sorry to put you on the spot, but
There are countries further east, you could say Egypt, some European countries. They have college that is free or at least much cheaper. I don't think it should be that expensive.
do you think that it's an issue with regulation or what?
I think it's an issue with school leaders who want to profit off of their school rather than educating their
That's true.
country's next generation.
That's true, but the way I take it is like, obviously I blame the billionaire, but also I don't want to be like, we're letting the billionaire get away with it. We're not. It's hard to like. I feel
I
like
see what you're saying. So yeah, it is the fault of people that are not getting behind these ideas.
I always am like pro blame the billionaire because like they have billions of dollars that they don't need to like be a human. They can eat with like maybe like you could survive with like I don't know less than $1 billion. I'd say you can survive with less than $1 billion, and so you just like have extra cash for no reason, and so it's like it's easy to blame that person, but I feel like when you just blame the billionaire, you use them as a scapegoat to not look at the root problem, which is regulation. We're not regulating these people to not let them have this immense amount of wealth, As far as schooling goes, we haven't like really regulated how much like you can that they're allowed to charge.
Can I jump in? I kind of want to jump back in, like way back to when Moosh was talking about, like the roads and the buildings. I don't really remember exactly what you said, but you were like, why do I want to pay for a building? Like, I don't want the buildings and something about the sky. But like, you walk into buildings every single day. Because like, if you think about it, your house is a building. Your place of work is a building. Anywhere you go to eat is a building. Like, school is a building. Kind of just like, you use buildings. So you're paying for buildings that you use. Because I don't really know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but like, any building that you go into, technically by paying for buildings, you are paying to go into the buildings, which I don't know if I agree with that like ideology in general, but that is like kind of where I get it. And like people that are like, oh, I don't want to pay taxes for school. You went to high school once, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, if you went to high school, then just think about it as you paying a little bit every year for like what overall turned into your diploma.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the whole reason of taxes is not to take money from you or it's not theft like libertarians like to call it. It's investing in the future of your country. And I feel like I know people get really patriotic about like shooting guns and like the 4th of July and like fireworks, but like I honestly don't get patriotic about that. I care about, and I know this sounds really lame, but like I feel patriotic when I pay taxes. It's like because I'm investing in the future of my country, or at least I hope I am. Like obviously some of the money doesn't really all go to like good things. Sometimes it like goes to like oil, like oil subsidies and like I don't know. It goes to pave roads instead of like creating infrastructure for like public transit, but that I don't agree with. But at the very least, it's supporting your country, And I'm not a very patriotic person, but I feel like it's ridiculous when people portray themselves as patriotic and then get upset when they talk about taxes. It just sounds crazy. It's crazy to me. Because, like, if anybody should be getting upset, it's me. I'm not patriotic. Like, I don't know. It seems ridiculous to me. But do you want to move on to J.K. Rowling?
Before we do that, Sierra was talking about the you pay to be in buildings. So I would think of it as, imagine that the person that finds the cure for diabetes or Alzheimer's, it never happens because they couldn't afford to go to school.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That shouldn't ever happen. And what Riley was saying about libertarian distrust for taxes, I think that's due to corruption. Because
That's fair.
if you knew your tax money was going to go toward helping people, I think way less people would distrust taxes.
No, I totally agree with that. A large problem with taxes is that it's become distrusted because people have distrust in the government. A lot of people, like, the government hasn't done much. Like, recently it's done some stuff, but like the whole Republican agenda is to make it seem as if like, oh no, the government getting involved, it's gonna make it worse. That is the goal of the Republican Party. It is to make it seem as though the government is the bad thing, and therefore it perceives it like it makes taxes look like, oh, they're not going to anything important, which in some cases it's true, which is why the issue. But the issue isn't paying taxes; it's what they're doing with your taxes. We need to make sure that we're like pushing representatives to do good things and not like. I mean, I guess it's difficult for us individually to do that, but like, and I don't want to give the lib argument of just vote more, sweaty. I feel like that's a stupid argument, but like, there's you have to do as much as you can. You have to organize in your workplace. You have to do your best to spread the word about who is actually going to like care about you, like as far as being elected. You have to take certain steps to ensure that your tax dollars won't go to waste. They won't go to tax cuts on the wealthy. They won't go to oil lobbyists. They won't go to, like all these BS things that don't help you. I guess that's my point. But Siri, did you have anything else you wanted to add on to that?
Kind of like, I feel like I'm always backtracking to go back to like
No,
things that
go
Moosh
ahead.
says. But the idea about the person that curing Alzheimer's not being able to go to school, I think that at the very minimum, like public community colleges should be free, but private colleges should be allowed to charge money if they wish. Because if, like, let's just for example throw in Ivy Leagues. If going to an Ivy League, you're going to a top-rated school, that can be considered a privilege. Not the fact that it's education, but the fact that it's like
You have Harvard on your resume.
top-rated, it's on your resume,
Yeah.
you get possibly a higher level of education. That's where the privilege comes in. Everyone should definitely have access to education, but whether or not that education is, like, let's say, at a 5 out of 10 or at a 15 out of 10, that can be considered a privilege.
I suppose I can understand that, but I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of pretentious. For like, I don't know. Not what you're saying. I mean the whole.
Like, just the idea in general.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
It feels gross. It's like, why should there be certain educations that are better than others? Not to say that like you can't have smarter people than other people, and everybody always has to have the same equal level of smartness. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that.
Riley, you'll just never get on my level.
It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying,
No, I know what you mean.
I think it's stupid for some schools to offer more of an opportunity than other schools. Like, because like if you can't afford that to go to that school, then you're gonna end up with a worse education, and you're gonna be a less productive member of society. You know?
Yeah, and then you can look at those countries like China, India, South Korea. They have roughly affordable education, but it's all based on one national test, and depending on how you do that, you can get into schools with like a 2% acceptance rate, and I don't think that's what we want either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But back to what I was going to talk about with J.K. Rowling. It's just a small segment.
Okay.
She made a book recently that I thought was hilarious.
Oh yeah, I saw a tweet on that.
I don't think many people like J.K. Rowling. Let's just put it that way. But
If you do, then I am so sorry for you. Oh my god.
she Do you know who J.K. Rowling is?
You guys ever heard the idea that you can like the art but not the
Oh yeah, no, you can.
That's what people are with J.K. Rowling.
Well, yeah, but the people have so much separated her from like the from the art that like Quidditch teams. Do you know what Quidditch is?
Yeah, we played that in school.
I've never. Let me start off with saying this. I've never been really invested in Harry Potter, but
Neither have I. I've never touched a Harry Potter.
But I care about it from a political standpoint because like they've no let me finish. They've distanced themselves so far from her that like the Quidditch team changed the name to like something else. Like it's no longer like the people that are so hardcore fans that they're like extremely into it and then they want to play the sport from the book that they love. Change the name of the game to separate themselves from her. That's like how much she's not liked by her fans.
I think that like the one thing that kind of ticks me off when people say, "Oh, just like separate Harry Potter from J.K. Rowling," but like they don't call out the fact that there are some very problematic things in the Harry Potter series that J.K. Rowling wrote.
Like what?
Go ahead. I don't remember the exact ones, but there's been I've definitely seen Twitter threads talking about the issues.
I'm like blanking, but I know that there's a lot of backlash for J.K. Rowling's. I do not remember the character's name.
Oh,
but the Asian character in the series.
They named the character. Wait,
Were they a Hufflepuff?
No. She named a character like Ching Chow. Like legitimately named the character like Ching Chow, and it's like that's.
I'm like,
why?
I don't know, Riley. Look
For my Mandarin speakers.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
For my Mandarin speakers, that is buhao.
I have to look
I'm
it
not
up
gonna
now.
ask what Moosh said, but what?
You can figure out what it means.
Is it bullshit?
No. It's much more polite. It just means bad.
Okay.
Okay.
So going back to what I was trying to say, I know that it sounded really like horrendous by referring to her as the Asian character, but it was I'm pretty sure it was Harry Potter's only Asian character in the series that kind of had literally.
She names the character Ching Chow. What the hell is wrong with this woman?
Wait, is that actually it?
Wait. I'm like.
Guys, what if that's actually
No,
an Asian's name though?
Moosh,
What if?
Give me that.
Cho Chang.
Okay.
That's so much more. So why? That's like just like when a 5-year-old is like being racist. That's a 5-year-old racist.
What do you want her to say? Xiao Long?
Maybe.
Okay, wait. So what I was trying to get as my point across is like she was the only Asian character that kind of had like any relevance in this series, as far as I'm aware of. Again, I have never read Harry Potter. I'm just going off what other people said.
What?
And I'm just never really into the series. Like
I've watched
kinda
some
not my
movies.
thing.
Not even elementary school.
No,
Nothing to do.
I was
Honestly,
I
I'm
was
gonna be real with
more-
you. I hate how she writes. I'm
I don't
sorry.
like her writing
I'm
style
sorry.
either.
I just like the way she writes. It's like it takes 20 pages for her to describe a door, and I get bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. I just get bored. I'm sorry. I know it's intricate, and it's cool that it's intricate, but it's.
I was much
I have ADHD,
more-
and I cannot read that. You're expecting a 10-year-old to read 20 pages describing the fucking textures of a door, and I'm like, just open the door! Just open the door! I'm like losing it. But I do like the movies.
Okay.
Why? Because they just open the door?
Yeah, because they just open the door!
I got two things now. So back to my original point. Like people on, I think it was Twitter, I couldn't tell you, were saying that like her name came from 2 different nationalities, and they're like, how are you gonna name a character? Like, one, I think I could not tell you, and I might be wrong, it was like one Korean name and one Chinese name.
I don't think there was
How-
much. If I'm
how
gonna
do
be
you
honest
do
with
that?
you, I feel like you're giving her the benefit of the doubt. I don't think there was much thought into it at all.
I
I
agree.
think she literally was like acting.
Ching
Like,
and Chong. Boom.
yeah, she was like being a 5-year-old, but she was like making like racist noises that she thought were they were
Bing
Asian.
bong
That's
tic tac.
literally what she was doing. I'm not even being like you know when you go up to a 5-year-old and they're like being racist because sometimes
Because
like
it's taught. That's what they're taught.
that's what this is. This is where they get it.
Yeah. I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about.
Oh, the
Harry
book,
Potter
the
books,
book,
too.
the book. She made the new book.
Oh, yeah. Wait, but I was like specifically about Harry
sorry,
Potter.
sorry.
I don't remember what it was, but I feel like there was another. It might have been
It was again.
anti-Semitism
Oh.
or something.
I
in
wouldn't
the
be
book.
surprised.
I don't remember. There's like another like I don't remember what it is. Anyways, but like as I'm trying to say, a lot of people have separated the art so far from the artist. They're not calling out the problematic parts of the book because they're just like, oh, the artist did that, but we don't talk about her.
That's okay. I see their point from that because like you have to still acknowledge that she is making mistakes, even if you don't want to like. Even if you want to distance yourself and kind of have escapism and be like, yo, this is my book that I like, and I want to continue liking the book even though I don't like the artist, you still got to be like, yo, this part of the book is kind of fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, literally.
just because you don't talk about her, you can still be like, there's a mistake here. Like just because you don't want to talk about the artist, you can still point out grammatical errors, or like it doesn't. Just because you're separating the art does not mean you can't criticize it. That's what I'm saying.
Also, Moosh, to answer your question, I was not a Harry Potter kid. I was a Land of Stories kid.
What's that?
I honestly completely forget what the books were about, but it's a book series by Chris Colfer, and there was like a girl and a guy. I think their names were Alex and Logan, and it was like a sister and a brother, and they kind of just traveled through a whole bunch of fairy tales. It was very, very exquisite.
Magic
8-year-old.
Treehouse ripoffs be like.
Oh.
No, it literally was not anything
Sounds like
Magic
it.
Treehouse. I mean, I did love Magic Treehouse.
Mary
so-
Pope
I love
Osborne is the
Music
goat.
Music.
Magic
Music Treehouse.
I love Magic Treehouse.
I did love Magic Treehouse. I've read a few of their books. I was not a Harry Potter kid. I was a Percy Jackson kid.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was a Percy Jackson.
I read all of Rick Riordan's
I
stuff.
was
did.
not. I was not a Percy Jackson kid.
I love the Percy Jackson stuff. I'm sorry. I was really weirdly into Greek mythology.
And then those Apollo trial series, I think those are good.
The Apollo trials.
The one where Apollo becomes a human,
Oh my god.
they're newer.
Okay. Yeah, I probably didn't read them.
Then he branched
I probably
out.
stopped reading them.
Rick branched out into Egyptian mythology, and then the Norse ones with like this Magnus Chase kid.
Legitimately, I don't remember the last. I think the last book I read without using an audiobook to also read along with it was a fucking what's it called? A Percy Jackson book. Because I just love it so much more because I'm such a slow reader. So I enjoy being. Can I like to be read to? Can I just like that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just not a.
It's like the same energy as watching TV with subtitles on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there are some shows that I physically cannot watch without subtitles on because the music's too damn loud. I can't hear what the hell is going on right now. Like I don't know who is in charge of mixing the sound, but what is happening?
You ever here watching Tenet? The fucking. Did you watch Tenet? Oh my god. It was from, I think it was the same guy that made Inception, and the sound mixing. It was a good show. I want to start by saying it's a good show before people get angry at me. It was a good show. But the sound mixing was like legitimately like just objectively bad. It was such a loud movie, and then like he doubled down on it and was like, no, but that's intentional.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. That was my
We
rant.
have to go back to J.K. Rowling's new book.
But first, and it is what it is. What are you gonna do? But Zayd, Riley, Sarah, how mad would you be if you had some creative masterpiece and someone just completely removes your legacy from that, and they completely disassociate you from your mental work.
Yes, you shouldn't have been a dumbass though. That's my point. I'm sorry.
Considering that is quite literally the entire plot of J.K. Rowling's new book.
No, her
Did
book.
I really?
No. Let me illustrate to you what her book is about. I'm not gonna read it because I'm not gonna read it.
When a
If I
17-year-old
pirated it,
comes
I
up
would
with your
read
book,
And the book is literally about someone being accused of being problematic on the internet and like being canceled for it, and then the person ends up like getting like slaughtered in the book, and like a large percentage of the book is Twitter threads, and I'm not kidding to you, made up Twitter threads. Like you can look it up, like made up Twitter threads.
I want to pirate the book.
I want to like if you I gotta find it because I'd like to something. Wait. I gotta find it now. I gotta find
Literally
it.
just search up J.K. Rowling in my
No. I think I liked the tweet and it had it on.
Interesting.
No, but I'm not gonna. Wait.
I'm sorry, I saw that and I was like, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, this is not real.
Yeah.
Only J.K. Rowling would do that. Like, I'm not even.
Oh my god. Just so stupid. It's like, and then she had the audacity to be like, but the book isn't about me. Really?
I mean, some parts were taken from her life. Most
parts were taken. Like, legitimately, I don't know how you have, like, you need to touch grass. If you are writing Twitter threads into a book, you need to go touch grass. Go touch grass.
I would also like to add that Tom Felton is also just as bad as J.K. Rowling for the amount of Harry Potter stuff that Tom Felton constantly parades around, and considering that Tom Felton is still like, I guess, kind of close to J.K. Rowling, he also sucks.
Tom Felton?
He
I don't know
plays
about
Draco in the Harry
Really?
Potter movies.
I didn't know about that.
He like is still, he milks off all the same because I don't remember if it was 2020 or 2021, but
This
like
sounds like an actor to me,
Draco-
no offense.
Draco went popular on TikTok, and this dude milked that fame like until like I don't know.
Just
don't
sounds
know.
like
It
a
was-
content creator to me.
It
No
was
offense.
just like until you were sick and tired of it. But like the thing is that everyone else in the Harry Potter cast, like of the main people, they're like known for other shit, and then he's just out here like 20 years later still being like, oh, I'm Draco Malfoy. Like, come on. Do you have anything better to do?
oh yeah, we'll just Expelliarmus, Mind Cadavra, Expecto Patronum. Yeah.
Thank you, Moosh.
I don't think they understood what you said.
No,
Neither
surely,
did I,
don't
for that
understand.
matter.
surely they understood.
Stop.
The garage. The garage.
My spells, they're working.
The garage. It's opening.
Oh, great. 20 pages to describe the garage door.
Just open the damn door already.
What else? What else do we have to talk about?
We could talk about
Do we not
Will's
come with a
topic.
list prepared?
I had some sort of a list,
We
and
could talk
then
about Will's topic.
we could talk about it.
What's Will's topic?
I just feel bad talking about it when he's not here. Do you want to talk about monkeypox? All right, I'll see.
What's Will's
Zane's gonna head out. Bye, Zane. Push it.
Yay! Open the damn door already. What the hell is that?
Loud noises. That's
What's
what it is.
Will's topic?
Monkeypox.
Give me just 1 second. Okay, anyway. But yeah. I know Will wanted to talk about this before. I also talked to my doctor about it
We
because I
can
wanted
wait
to
for
get...
Will.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, I feel like
We can talk about
we'll
it.
talk
like,
about it now, and then if
I was
Will
gonna
wants to
say we can
commentate
talk about it briefly and then we can go back to it.
Yeah, we can always go. Well, because it's still a developing situation, so
Yeah.
for sure we're still going to be talking about this in the future, and so I don't think it's any problem talking about it now. And then when Will's back on, we can of course talk about it again. But monkeypox. It's something that's happening and something that's been like kind of surged all over like news and stuff like that. Apparently, it's basically how do I explain it? Isn't it a subset of chickenpox?
I
Or is
believe
it?
so.
Yeah, and so it's like supposed to be like highly contagious if I'm
Yep.
not mistaken.
I'm not entirely sure if I'm exactly correct, but I'm pretty sure anyone that like contracts it has to quarantine for 3 weeks under current rule. Because
That's what it's told, but like
even
I've seen multiple. No offense, I don't mean to cut you off, but I've seen multiple TikToks of just like people being like, they're telling me I have to stay in my house, and people just like evading quarantine,
this is
like
why
with like pustules all over their face.
People are done, Riley. They're done.
this
so
is why
stupid.
literally almost 3 well it's closer to 2.5 almost 2.5 years later we're still hearing about COVID is because no one can fucking stay home.
Could have ended it in months.
Dude,
Exactly.
if you're sick, it doesn't matter what you have. Just stay home.
Literally.
Why? Like I don't even care about being like COVID or like I don't care about it being COVID or monkeypox or polio, which we're gonna be talking about in a minute. Or whatever the hell you have, or just a cold. Just stay in the fucking house. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You can call in sick most of the time. Some jobs are kind of dickholes if you try calling in sick. But you have the ability to call in sick. You can stay home. You can miss a class that day. You don't have to go out. You can stay home and rest. If not for everybody else, like if not for yourself to get better, for everyone around you, you're gonna get your friend sick.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. That's all I'm saying. And if you have like a serious illness and you go around old people that have a weak immune system, you're gonna kill them. Like, why are you doing that? I just don't get it. I obviously I don't want you to stay quarantined for the rest of your life always. That's ridiculous. But like, if you're sick and if you're sick, stay home. And if you have to go out for like food, wear a mask. Like you don't no, I'm not saying you have to wear a mask. I'm saying be a good person and wear a mask. Like the whole reason of wearing a mask is to not get other people sick. It's just a nice person thing.
This is common courtesy in countries like Japan. They
Yeah.
do wear a mask when they're sick.
Yeah. It's like faux pas to like even like to ever not wear a mask when you're sick. People are like told when they're a kid, like when you're sick, you have to wear a mask, and it's like it's just not. I don't see how it's like super a big deal. That's my only take. But I guess I technically grew up into COVID, so maybe I have a different perspective than someone that grew up before COVID. But like, I just don't care anymore. Like, if I had, like, towards the end of wearing a mask, I didn't even know I was wearing a mask. Like, it just, I don't feel it anymore. And I guess maybe I have some sort of privilege in not feeling the mask, but like, I don't know. It's like, it's not that big of a deal.
On the plus side, you don't have to cover your cough anymore.
Yeah, well,
You're
actually.
wearing a mask.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's my point.
Yeah.
When we wore masks, usually I still did cover coughs and sneezes because
Out of
like
habit.
Yeah,
well,
I've had
out of habit and also just out of second precaution.
Yeah.
Why the hell not? I mean, like.
Is it gonna hurt you if you sneeze into your arm?
Burn a few calories. Moving your arm.
Like,
Burn the calories. Good for you. You burned some calories.
I feel like there's like. Maybe there's more than that, but like I feel like there's only 2 valid reasons of why people would make like a deal out of wearing masks. Number 1 is if you physically can't wear one because you have issues
Yeah,
with
if you have like medical
your lungs
issues.
or other medical issues. Because if you're asking someone with severe asthma to put that mask on and they physically cannot breathe, you should not force them to keep wearing
That's
that
fucked up.
mask. Like, I guess worst case scenario, get them like a face shield. But like, you can't force someone to wear a mask if they physically cannot do it. And I'm not saying people that say that they can't do it, I'm saying people that can't do it.
Yeah, like the
And
doctor
then-
told them they can't.
And then the other issue is if they have sensory issues with masks, which obviously there's so many different types where like most of the time it wouldn't end up being a problem if you find the right one. But
Because
like-
they do make masks in like different materials. They don't
Yeah.
have to only be in the specific. Well, I mean, they vary in effectiveness depending upon the material, but like
Mhm.
something is something, right?
Yeah.
So like if you have an issue with like the what's it called the
Texture.
yeah, the texture, you can always like change to like a cloth or like a plastic or something, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of like my only takeaway. Oh, we were talking about monkeypox, right?
Monkeypox,
Okay.
yes.
So I guess like my whole takeaway from monkeypox, like thus far, thus far,
What kind of accent was that?
I don't know. Like my voice cracked.
Go ahead.
I guess like the one takeaway I really have is that a lot of and I don't mean this like to generalize Republicans, but that's like a majority of the people who do it. A lot of Republicans
I
are
don't care
kind
if
of
they're
talking it down as another disease that only impacts the queer community, and it breaks my heart to see it because they're not paying attention to it,
Yeah,
which means
and
that
it
they
might get out of
don't
control.
care. They don't care about finding a cure for it until it starts affecting them.
Well, isn't that what happened with polio? There was an issue with polio where I might be thinking.
I
I
don't
might-
know enough
wait.
about polio to back you up.
I know. I might be thinking this might be a different disease, but I believe it's polio. There was an issue where it was killing everyone of low income, and it was killing a lot of people in the black community, and nothing happened until like no one started searching for a cure until rich white people's babies started dying. Nothing happened until that, and it's like nothing. If I feel like it's just we don't care until it's out of control because we don't care until it starts affecting people that are wealthy, and it's upsetting because like of anything you're just shooting yourself in the foot. What are you doing? Like even if you are like from the most immoral standpoint being like I don't care about poor people, I don't care about black people, you're like I want them to die. Even if you're like that, you are making it more likely for you to get a disease. And it's stupid. It's just stupid. Like, that's the only thing I have to say.
So you're saying it's definitely wrong if you operate on empathy, but it's still wrong if you operate on logic.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. Like, if you are saying it's wrong, you're not operating. like if you're saying that it's not a problem, you're just not operating. You're not operating on empathy.
Anything.
Yeah, you're just like you're operating on your own feelings. And it's just I mean like feelings are important, but like not as important as life's.
Yeah.
just straight up. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I just don't want monkeypox to turn into like an AIDS pandemic kind of thing.
Yep.
That's something I wanted to get into too because there's as of recently it's been a large what's the word? I don't want to missay this. It's been
Pandemic?
yeah, it's been
Epidemic?
Epic.
it's been a large epidemic in like gay communities, and I don't mean to generalize. I just mean like that's what's
Like
that's what's been told to us, and that's like kind of what the percentages say.
based on stats.
Yeah, it's not
most-
like it's not only being like only gay people get it. I'm not a crazy
Because
person.
it's like I don't know if it was specifically to New York City or if it was just overall majority of the cases were reported to like fall in the category of queer men.
Yeah,
And like I don't like no. I guess like yeah, sure. If that is true, it does not mean that the disease is only going to affect you.
yeah, exactly.
And it shouldn't be treated as such, which it kind of just breaks my heart that a lot of people are thinking about it that way.
I
It's
just
not
don't want it
true.
to be portrayed as a gay disease.
Mhm.
Like that's what happened with AIDS. Is it was portrayed as something that only gay people got, and like it was an issue like. It was like, and then it was twisted into being like a religious issue of that it was some sort of punishment from God for being gay, and it's like that's not how diseases work. I hate to break it to you, but like that's not how diseases work. They don't just like they don't affect you specifically on your sexuality. That's not how that's not scientific. I'm sorry. And so it's ridiculous that like that even happened to begin with, and I just feel like I don't want this to get to the level of an AIDS epidemic again. I don't want this, even though I wasn't alive back then. I don't want to see that happen. Like that's fucked up, because then people are gonna start, if it starts getting worse, people are gonna start blaming it on gay people, which is ridiculous. Like that's stupid. It's really sad, because it won't. I don't think this will get much. It's getting coverage, which is good. I will say that that's good that it's getting coverage, but I don't know how much it will get worked on until it starts affecting not just gay people, and that's sad to say, but like I don't see the immediate kind of. Well, I guess we didn't have immediate pushback when COVID happened. But that's kind of a lie. But I don't see the immediate what's the word? Focus at all. And maybe that's because it's less severe. Maybe that's why. But we should always try our best to like limit diseases. And I feel like it's stupid to not do that. I don't know. I'm trying not to be like super authoritarian with being like we need to eliminate all diseases and you have to stay in a bubble for the rest of your life. But I mean, some of these things are just not hard. If you have pustules on your face and you are coughing or you're coughing up a storm, just stay home for a few days. It's like it's not usually for most people it's not that big of a deal, and especially if you're well off. If you're well off, you can take a day off. You can take a few days. You can take a week off, and you'll be fine. If you need food, you can. We have, not that it's the most what's it called, like economical or like
Uber Eats.
Yeah, we can do. You can Uber Eats.
You can DoorDash.
And if worst comes to worst, and you don't have that kind of money, just put on a mask and go to the store. And sometimes they even have options where like they'll shop for you. Like I remember when I worked at my dead end job at Market 32, which was a shit job, but
Nice.
they used to have Instacart, and people would go shop for you. And I think you'd get like a surcharge of like $5, and then like they deliver it to your car. So like there are options. You don't have to go to. Like, you don't have to drive to the McDonald's and pick up food from the McDonald's and, like, cough in the customer's face. You can just... there are other things you can do, you know? You don't have to walk through grocery stores unmasked. There's, like, you have options if you are sick. Like, it's just... I don't know. I feel like this is going to turn into an issue where people are...
Just inconsiderate.
Yeah, unwilling to be, like, just be smart. Or empathetic. Sorry.
Yeah.
Empathetic.
I think I have like 2 more things.
2 more?
Well, just to add, like, well, I probably have like 3 now.
No, go.
But the first one is about monkeypox. Like versus COVID. When COVID hit us and it started affecting people and we started to care about it, anti-Asian hate crimes rose
Yeah,
a lot.
that's
So
true.
if monkeypox becomes a problem, like for people, and we start doing something about it, I hate to see the same thing happen because it barely ever got coverage the first time around, and I know for a fact that it probably wouldn't get coverage again.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my first comment there.
And you don't mean, when you say Asian hate, you don't just mean people like saying rude words, which of course happened, but like people like shooting up places. That's what you mean. Like
well,
both.
when I mean a hate crime, I mean like physical violence. So
Yeah.
yes, like for example, pulling a weapon on someone because of their race. Like
Yep.
obviously microaggressions like probably did rise too.
Yeah,
But like when I mean hate crimes, I mean specifically like the severe incidents.
yeah, I just think it's
Yeah.
important for us to clarify that, so it's not like we're just saying that people are being more racist, which obviously is wrong, but like that's not what we're trying to say. We're saying that like, people were like committing violence against
I
other
think
races.
people were probably more racist
Oh
because
yeah, no, for sure.
because like think about it even like on a microaggressive level. Bat jokes.
Yeah.
People saying, "Oh, stay away from me. You might have COVID," based essentially on how the person looks, and
Yeah.
obviously like insulting people's culture, talking about eating like certain animals. I don't remember exactly what animals people would say, but obviously like quote unquote not American food, like
Mhm.
kind of just stuff like that. That did spike too.
For sure, because like if violence is spiking, you can only imagine the amount of like just individual racism spiking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my first point. My second point was about polio. Like,
oh right.
the resurfacing of it, I think at its core is genuinely the fault of anti-vaxxers. Like,
yeah, no, 100%.
there is nothing else to it other than the fact that people decided that they didn't want to get vaccinated anymore. And all of these diseases are going to come back, and it's only going to affect the unvaccinated people.
Well, no, I don't think that's completely true. I think
Okay,
it will.
yeah. I guess to a certain degree, I mean. Like, it will, I believe that the diseases that we got rid of, I'm forgetting the word. It's not like exterminate. Eradicate. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like the diseases that we eradicated with vaccines, I believe it is going to severely, disproportionately affect unvaccinated people.
Yeah, 100%.
And that is no one's fault but their own.
Yeah, well, no, disagree. I don't think it's entirely their fault because a large proponent of a large reason why okay, this is my personal opinion. I think that if you're being unvaccinated, you're kind of being stupid, obviously, because like the whole reason you get a vaccine is so that way you don't die at the age of 3 of polio, and because like the whole reason we made vaccines is because people were dying at the age of 3 at polio, and you had 7 kids, so you hope that maybe 2 made it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I'm it's true. That's true.
I know.
But like that's why. It's because that's why we made vaccines. That's the whole reason why.
That's why you see higher birth rates in third world countries.
Yeah, exactly. Because they would like their kids to survive because nobody helps them with vaccines. And like they die to diseases because they're usually neglected when it comes to diseases. And but back to what I was saying is that a large proponent, the whole reason that you get vaccinated is for that. But I think that there's been a large resurfacing of anti-vaccine movement, and it's not. And I try my best to not blame the individuals because I feel like that's dumb. It's not in my personal take is that it's dumb. It is somewhat. It is 100% their choice to make that decision and their fault for making that decision. But it is not just their fault. It is the fault of people that are pushing this propaganda.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
the
I
fault
agree.
of, yeah,
I agree.
it is the fault of people that are like using this, like using this movement and this resurfacing of COVID to push propaganda to make money. The whole reason that they do this is because algorithms let them do this. Algorithms like hate. They like hate. They enjoy to be pushed hate because when you watch a hateful video, you keep watching. It's true. I hate watch. Trust me. I was up at fucking like 3 a.m. the other day watching like Brett Cooper.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I will get to that in a minute.
Okay.
I will get to that in a minute because I want to talk about that. But it's not just the fault of people that are not getting vaccinated. Okay. It is the fault of people that are peddling it.
Yeah, I'm going to backtrack to like what I said. I said that the impact that it will disproportionately affect anti-vaxxers, and I mean just everyone that didn't get vaccinated as a whole, and that is not including people that are not allowed to get vaccinated. And that is not including people that can't get vaccinated. Anyone that has made the conscious choice not to get themselves vaccinated, I believe, is responsible for the fact that they are at much higher of a chance of getting one of the diseases that was once eradicated with
Yeah.
vaccines.
You're right.
However, to say that they possibly have not fallen victim to propaganda spread around by other people is not true. And I agree with you. I do believe that the people pushing the anti-vaxxer movement do have a very large place to blame as well.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, a lot of these people that are peddling these conspiracies are vaccinated.
Yeah.
Like Tucker Carlson is vaccinated. He likes to go, what are in the vaccines? Look, they're not telling us what is in the vaccines. Why is it secret? Why is nobody telling us? And I guess it didn't matter to him because he put it in his arm. So whatever's in it, I guess it's fine because he got it. It's ridiculous that you can, because what you're doing is you're making money off of people that are going to die. It's like fucked up. I don't know how else to say it. It's fucked up. And these people are obviously victim, but they also are choosing to do this. They're choosing. They're like stabbing themselves in the kidney and being like, man, what are people gonna do to me? And what are people gonna do to help me? I'm bleeding. And it's like yes, you stabbed yourself. What do you? Why do you do it? I genuinely do not understand it. I can understand fear. I can understand fear. That is I can understand that because there's been issues in the past with people testing vaccines on low income communities and black communities and that has led to this isn't real. I'm like not peddling the conspiracy. That's like real. There's been issues with like people testing vaccines on low income communities first before they hit like they release it to be what's it called universally available. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, and we're back. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yes, we are back. I was gonna say we were just talking about polio. I know Moosh wanted to talk about the flooding in Pakistan, and I don't really have a lot of research on that. So if you want to take the wheel, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, let's just convert back and go over to Moosh.
So a large part of the country is underwater right now, and even more is going to be underwater, and it's all because of climate change. And these rich Western countries don't care. But Pakistan contributes less than 1% to the world's carbon emissions. We were talking about the vaccines, like people not caring about a problem until it affects them. This is that happening on another level. It's human nature that people are like that. And people only focused mainly on Pakistan news because of the flooding, but prior to that, their prime minister got removed, and he was mainly their only politician, or for that term in Pakistani history, the main guy that focused on climate change. The other parties really didn't care, or even if they expressed care, they didn't do anything about it. Now, once he's overthrown, then they have a government that doesn't care as much, and this is happening. So I think it's a funny coincidence.
Yeah, no, it is definitely crazy that like you were saying before, like they only contribute about 1%. Like, did you say 1% or less than 1%?
Less.
and their country's underwater. It's ridiculous that we commit a lot of carbon emissions, but yet when it affects other countries, we don't care. It's just blatantly like criminally negligent. It's ridiculous that we're allowed to just get away with kind of this when we're allowed to just emit as much carbon emissions as we want and make climate change as worse as we can, and then we don't even have to we barely have to suffer the consequences comparatively to like other countries. Obviously we suffer the consequences. Don't get me wrong. I can see you, Texas, over there freezing, like literally freezing over.
It snowed last year in Texas.
That's so dumb.
Is that normal though? Is it normal to snow in Texas?
It's kind of a freak. It's like kind of a freak thing to happen.
Occasional thing.
It like maybe like once every like 30 to 40 years, but it's not at the rate it's been happening. It's been happening like every other year, and and it's been happening more extremely, and they've been freezing over. Like not just like little bits of snow, because like that happened when I lived in Pensacola. It used to have like little flakes of snow that didn't stick, but like if like your roads are freezing and you are like unprepared for that, you're gonna have like crazy amount of traffic jams, and people are gonna start having heat, and they're like, because their pipes are gonna freeze, and like people just start dying, like just die, because like there's like less than an inch of snow, and nobody's prepared for that. Nobody's prepared for that because it shouldn't happen. It just straight up shouldn't happen.
Why should we Longhorns have to deal with this cold white stuff? What is this?
What is this snow? I don't appreciate the sky giving this snow on the ground.
The only white things allowed in Texas are us.
Your King Kona needs work, but you got the words down.
Oh my god.
Oh, stupid. It's just stupid. I don't understand. Look, no, I guess I do understand why. It's money. People want money. I get that. But like, I don't get why someone that's not well off and is going to be affected by this when your pipes freeze and you have to make a fire in your house because you watched one YouTube video once about how to make a fire, and now you're gonna die from like carbon monoxide poisoning because you're like making a fire in your house and you don't have a chimney because it's not meant to, because you're in fucking Texas. You're not supposed to have chimneys in Texas. That's why. And then like, if you're in that situation, why are you voting Republican?
Over here, we leave chimichangas out for Santa, and he wears a cowboy hat.
Why are you voting Republican? They are killing you. They're killing you. They're not shooting you. Well, sometimes they are, but
Okay.
But most of the time, it's.
You went back to the accent.
Did I?
Yeah. You were like, most of the time.
Most
Did
of
you
the
catch
time.
that, Sierra?
No. I think I get what you're saying though. He's like, it might have happened, but it didn't look like.
No, I sometimes I slip into culture. It's a problem. I do that sometimes.
Have you always like spoken quote unquote northern? Or did you
I've always, well, this isn't, I don't really give myself a northern accent, because I feel like a northern accent is kind of relaxing, I'm in the fucking road, watch out, like, you know, it's a relaxed tongue accent, you know what I mean?
Not really, but kind of.
I know what you mean.
I
Like,
get-
there's
I
no
get
tension in the tongue. The
Yeah.
tongue is loose. The tongue is flexible.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
With
I don't know that
with
much
a
about it.
southern thing, the tongue is flexed. The tongue is, it knows what it's saying.
It knows what it's saying.
With northern, the words just flow.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, I
As a
think
linguist-
there's a bit of a southern flow to the word
What?
that you have. What? I can do a southern accent pretty well.
I know that was coming up.
But yeah, I've always spoken
Yeah.
like this. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Even when I lived in North Carolina.
So is it just like a habit?
I guess so.
Okay.
Which is strange because like I'm from the South. Not like completely, but like I was born not in the South.
Is
but, like,
Riley a closet Republican that's just trying to piss people off?
yeah, that'd be really funny. That'd be really funny. If
That-
I was like.
That my whole life would be a lie. Because he's literally this so blatantly obvious. What
Democratic socialist.
Democratic socialist. It's just. and
I'm a bleeding heart Democratic socialist.
he
It's-
plays the part so well.
It'd
He
be
should
really
in the
funny.
drama club.
It'd be really funny. Like if I was playing like a character
No.
this whole time, and I was like,
Riley Tate.
"Fuck the government. I don't want to. I don't want you coming over here telling me I have to pay my taxes. Pay my taxes. No.
If Riley was a Republican, my whole life's a lie.
All our arguments mean nothing.
I really wish you would have said if Riley's a Republican and I'm white. I wish you said
It's
that.
true.
I really wish you said that.
But I mean, I guess there was a portion of my life where I wasn't a Republican, but I definitely wasn't a Democratic
More
Socialist.
conservative?
No, I
I
was.
don't think anyone can be a democratic socialist from the get-go.
No, that's not true.
Unless you have democratic socialist parents,
Parents.
no 8-year-old is going to be
Well,
a
yeah,
democratic
because their
socialist.
parents aren't Democratic Socialists. A lot of
Exactly.
parents aren't Democratic Socialists, so that's why. But
What's your dad, Riley?
he's liberal. I'd say liberal, but he's in the military, so he's like liberal with military.
Traditional values?
Yeah,
What's your
yeah,
mom?
I'd say that. But yeah, and my mom's pretty liberal without the military. It's like.
I see.
That's fair.
But yeah.
Then we got Colleen.
You're talking about. Don't talk about my parents. Like, not my aunt.
Well, cut that, please.
Oh!
We're not name dropping Colleen on the podcast.
Who's?
Colleen is my
Sierra's
mother.
Republican mother.
Oh.
We're not gonna talk about my parents
we can just-
on the podcast.
Yeah, Will, can you just
Cut it out, yeah.
beep beep?
Just
And we're back.
Just like he did the bus honking for when he doxed his old address.
Yeah. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, don't cut it out, just honk it. Even better.
If you want, we don't have to talk about her.
Anyway, like I was saying before, it's and do you know the policy positions of the new government in
Did you were
Pakistan?
about to say Palestine?
I wasn't.
Are you sure?
I wasn't. I'm sorry. I saw a Free Palestine thing like just a few minutes, like an hour ago, and it was like
It's
that's why.
it's basically the same elites that have been ruling in
Oh.
their corrupt little, they're puppet governments essentially.
Mm.
But this is another thing I was saying. This might be an L take. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But I never post like activist stuff on my social medias because I don't think it does anything. You get attention for a few months, like the Free Palestine hashtag. You get that for a little bit, and then nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nothing actually happens from that. So that's why I don't do it.
Well, I'd argue that in some cases, it definitely changes minds. Like some people are on the fence and they just don't know at all what's happening. And they're like, "What's happening?" And
I
then
think
it makes them a lot more.
Sorry.
Sorry, that's okay.
No,
It makes
okay.
them a lot more responsive to these issues in the future. Like I knew nothing about Palestine before, and now we're gonna have an episode on this in the future.
Ooh, that's great.
Yeah, you're gonna like not because like what it does is it spreads awareness, but like besides that, it doesn't do just be fair.
Wait.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, sorry. I don't want to like.
Yeah, no.
I
go.
think the only thing I disagree with it saying that it doesn't do anything because I think it at its very basic core level helps inform people.
That's true.
But that is not like a form of education to the point where you should be relying on it to say things. Like you should be doing your research. Like that is like very core, like an introduction to an essay type of thing.
Yeah,
And I
it's
kind
the
of
book.
I do appreciate the fact that like the infographics exist. And obviously I post some of them if it's like, oh, I think more people should know this. But it's not like I'm like diehard killing my story with like infographics, and usually I don't post like more than maybe 3 on the same topic because at that point then there's a lot of redundancy you have to deal with.
Yeah.
But I think as overall they don't do much in the big picture, but in the little picture they are helpful.
In the big picture, they don't do much systemically. Like they don't change problems. They don't. Like they don't change. Like if a lawmaker had previously chosen one thing, they're not going to change their mind because they saw
Infographic.
an infographic or a black picture on someone's.
Exactly.
But-
whenever I see these, I think of a political cartoon in my mind, and maybe I'm gonna draw it one day. But there's this guy, and he's sharing it, and one politician is looking at his phone. He's like, "Oh, now I'm going to do it," and then he goes and fixes it. That doesn't happen. So
Yeah,
I don't know why people do
That's
it.
true, but it also just at the base level it shows support. Because a lot of reasons why this is happening is because people are in pain and
If I get punched in the face and you're like, "Yeah, man, here's a Band-Aid," Get out of here. Punch him back, man. I don't want your band-aid.
No, you're right. You're right. Because like but I'm not a policymaker, at least yet. I'm not a policymaker, so I can't there's nothing I can do specifically to change what's happening, except for show support and condemn those who aren't, or not condemn those who are actively trying to do the opposite.
Riley, are you taking super policy studies?
No, what's that?
It's like national
It's
issues.
the
college.
college version.
Yeah.
No, I'm taking national issues.
I will say though,
No,
spineless
you're not super
support.
policy
Spineless
studies.
support is nearly
I'll
an
look into
insult.
I'll talk to my
It means
guys
nothing.
about that.
I think you should take it.
Okay.
I think you
You
would
should.
really enjoy that course.
All right.
I
All
mean,
right.
obviously you'd enjoy national issues, but
I mean,
also
I get
I feel
a
like
block free. I might as well.
I feel-
Work the shed.
well,
Nope.
what?
Oh, yeah,
I'm just
sure.
gonna leave.
No,
Bernice
do
is
you
in the
have-
shed now.
Do you have national issues first semester or second semester?
Second.
Okay, so then you probably could switch into it. But like personally, I don't know if there's like requirements or anything, but I feel like for you who has like such a specific like passion for that type of stuff,
I
you
do.
would like that course. I
Okay.
think you would like it.
All right. Is it just better than national issues?
It's just more in depth.
Well, no, it's not quite. Like, I guess from what I hear about national issues is they kind of just talk about like the government and how stuff works, but like
Oh.
policy studies goes really deep into like policy and like policy making and like
Yeah, that's
different
that nerd
players in
shit
it.
that I love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love
I
that
feel-
nerd
yeah.
shit.
And you'd be in like a class with a bunch of people that are either accelerated or they just really like find interest in that. So I think you would like it.
Yeah, it's super policy.
Yeah, it's
Super
it's
no,
not
Supa.
super, it's Supa because it's
Supa.
through Syracuse.
Okay.
Super policy.
Well, don't leave that. Will leave that, please.
Super, like the
No.
slang version.
No, it's through beep. Anyway, but yeah, what I'm saying is that like it's. I definitely will look into that, and it's just, man, I got off track. What was I thinking about? Oh, I wanted to talk about Brett Cooper.
Wait, really, Sierra? National issues is just about government?
Well, not quite. Like I don't know how to describe national issues because I didn't take it. It's just that from what I hear, national issues is a very easy course.
But is all they talk about government?
I don't think
So
so.
boring to me. I like policy studies.
Like
actually.
are you taking national issues?
Yeah.
Or policy study?
National issues.
Second
So is it just like
semester or first
civics
semester?
again? Is it just like civics again?
Please, no.
Maybe.
Dude,
No.
you can just watch a YouTube video
I know.
and get like most of that information.
Yeah.
Alright. But anyway, I wanted to talk about Brett Cooper.
Is Brett Cooper?
Is she the one that's like Ben Shapiro's
Yes!
daughter or something?
Yeah! She's like a Ben Shapiro if she was young and a
Oh,
girl.
Okay.
She is so, oh my god.
I have no idea who this is.
I
You'll
was
you'll see her if we show you a picture.
I was watching Instagram. I wasn't on Instagram. I was on YouTube Reels because like I have a problem and
YouTube Shorts.
YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts. Yeah. And let me look her up.
She looks like him too.
She kind of does actually. And Brett Cooper.
Look familiar?
No.
Oh.
No.
No.
Okay. Anyway, I was just like, and then I started hate watching like because I hate watch sometimes. What am I supposed to do? I like to criticize people for having L takes. I'm sorry. And it's just I made a list now. I now have a list that I've just started off with one specific thing, and I would like to hear your opinions. It's called the stupidest shit I've ever heard list.
That is a beautiful name.
And the quote is, alt-right and super MAGA are slurs. Brett Cooper. I am actively, like, I'm not triggered, because I don't get triggered. I'm just like, what?
Honest
The
to
fuck?
God, do you want to know what this reminds me of?
No, go on.
Don't
I-
get canceled, Sierra.
No. This is like actually like literally if we had a pendulum, Brett Cooper's here, swing back, I'm talking about this side. Stranger Things fans, specifically for the character Eddie Munson, I don't really remember the whole context of what happened here, but they made slurs specifically against people that like identify with Eddie Munson, but like in a chronically online way. Like I don't remember exactly what it was, but like I think I honestly could not tell you because I saw it once and I saw it on Twitter and then it was gone. I think they made a new sexuality and a new gender specifically based on his character, and then made
Touch grass! Sorry.
And then made a slur. But like the first thing I thought of when I saw the whole thing is, you can't make slurs. If no one says the word, it's not a slur.
Who asked you alt-right? Get really offended now.
Yes. You have to be really.
He, him, Sierra.
Not the same thing.
It's just. I mean, and then this goes into this whole what is a slur, and that's an interesting.
I think I don't think it's a debate.
No,
I don't think so.
I think slur is definitionally just something that is used to discriminate against a group of people.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between whether or not a slur has systemic implications and or is just like a mean word. like
I don't think. Do you think the R word is systemic versus the
Yes.
N word?
I would say no, not versus, but I
Not
think
versus, but the R word definitely is systemic. And like I will preach that so hard. That is systemic.
I preach that somewhat. I mean, like
Both of you elaborate.
I think okay. Well, so what I would say is that the N word is specifically systemic because it was used to oppress black people. It was used as a term.
No question.
Like no question, easily to distinguish is that word was used as a derogatory term to oppress someone that was seen as less than you. Like when people were like only whites allowed, they'd also write no N words allowed. They like it was systemically used to oppress black people, and that's somewhat true in the context of the R slur. But I think it's definitely less than because it was previously used as a medical term.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Sierra,
Mental retardation was a disease. And
Yes.
They wrote that on the back of salt. Iodide prevents.
yeah, but they're also that's ridiculous for iodine.
It became an insult later.
Yeah, but go ahead, Sierra.
There's just like a couple things I want to say. Number one, I don't really think that you can compare the impact of the R word and the
Yeah, you
N
can't.
word.
That's fucked up.
And like a huge part of that is the fact that it was once a medical term, but everyone knows that that's an outdated term. No one is using that word to refer to the medical term that it used to be. Everyone that uses that word is using it in an insulting manner.
Yeah,
That word, physically, and honestly, I'm saying this is like a fact that I have never seen someone use that word without meaning it in a derogatory manner. If you want to use that word, I am pretty sure there's another word you can replace it.
Yeah, you can just call someone
Like,
stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but it's in my
want
opinion.
that
I
greater effect.
personally do not think like. I'm not gonna rank slurs right now because like that'd be ridiculous. But like,
N-word S tier.
yeah, like that's ridiculous to do so. But like, I think that if you are most people that say the R word are not using it in intent to be like
Scientifically correct.
Yeah, they're not using it in intent, but they're also not using it in an attempt to be like ableist.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
they're
I don't
just wanna say
let me finish.
Okay.
I don't want to be like an offender of people that say the R word because I'm not. I personally think that people don't understand what they're saying is offensive, and the thing is that most people that say it, you can be funny without saying it.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I don't want people to think that the only reason they're funny is because they say slurs. Like there are other ways to be funny. You know,
Yeah.
like and not to say that slurs are funny, but like that's what I mean. I'm like,
Other ways to try to be funny.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That's what I meant. Thank you.
I kind of want to jump back. I don't
Go
even
ahead.
remember what you said that you really go like, I want to say something. But like, I think it was the fact that you said that no one is using it to intentionally be ableist.
No, I didn't say no one.
Wait,
That
well,
was
I mean,
Roger.
most people. Yeah, I'm just talking about really.
But yeah, go ahead.
But like, I guess like yes, you could say that you're like most people are not saying it directly to someone that is disabled, which I believe is a lot of the problem with the word itself. Is that like, say that Moosh like randomly tripped when we're leaving, right? Like a lot of people will just be like, "Oh, you're so," and I'll use the word stupid here because that's something I would say. I would be like, "Oh, Moosh, you're so stupid. You tripped on the floor," which I would never say that. I would probably literally what I would say was, "How was your trip?" That is what I would say. But
How was your trip?
Okay, that is funny.
You are turning into Brian.
Everyone in my family says that, so I started picking it up because the amount of times I watch people's trip, I go, "How's your trip?" And my sister would be like, "Good." So that's what I would say if Moosh actually tripped, but a lot of people will be like, "Oh, you're so stupid, you tripped on the floor." And like, obviously,
Yeah.
you're not saying that intentionally to someone who is disabled's face, but it's still intentionally ableist because
Calling me an
I'm
idiot.
listening.
for
No, I'm
that
listening.
trip?
Go ahead.
because you're using the word in a negative context.
Okay.
The
No,
word,
that's
the word
that's
idiot
somewhat.
has a negative context.
No. She's talking about the R word.
Oh, I see.
I see that because you're never saying that word nicely.
Exactly.
That word is used.
You're my favorite R word.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
love-
That's not that nobody. Not to say that nobody like.
No, literally
No
nobody.
one says
Nobody.
And the only reason why I believe that logic cannot also be applied to the N-word is because of how crazily it's been reclaimed. And I am not saying that like I'm not like trying to police anyone using the N-word, but I believe that it's been reclaimed enough to the fact that people are not using it derogatorily, which in cases of if you are allowed to say it and you're not using it derogatorily, I think that it is not the end of the world if you say it.
Yeah, I would say that as much as the only thing I would say is that here from the perspective of a white male,
And a white female.
Yeah, give me just one moment. Give me a moment of your time.
Don't click off yet.
But I would just say that like it's not like racism is still happening. It's still prevalent,
It
and
is,
I feel
absolutely.
like the word is still used to be racist.
Absolutely.
So like the only reason it's okay ever is when someone that is black says it. Like,
Absolutely.
because it's pretty difficult for no, it's not difficult. It's like it's the only reason that someone that's black is saying it is because they're trying to take away the racist connotation.
Absolutely.
So that way it is less offensive when it's heard later.
Absolutely.
Like it's like they're trying to nullify the damage that the word has caused in the past.
I'm so glad you used that example because people like Will and sympathizers have the logic that let's say there's dirt in your glass of water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you add more water to dilute it, but there's always gonna be that dirt in the water.
I suppose. I see what you're saying. You're saying that the word is null and void and you should just not use it. Like there's no way to use it without it being racist.
They don't always be there.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. My personal take on that is that that's when it becomes your own personal choice of whether you would like to use the word, because there are a lot of people that
Then
can
drink
say-
dirty water.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess. But what I'm saying is that there are a lot of people that physically can use the word that don't, and that choice is totally respectable. But if you find it more appropriate and you can say the word to use that word in a different connotation, I do believe that is also acceptable. And both sides are both like very valid causes.
I personally am of the I don't want to give the it's not my place take, but also I kind of do. It's like to be fair, like if these people were oppressed for a long portion of time.
We don't know what that's like.
Yeah, it like you, I don't. I'm never. I have the privilege of not being, having microaggressions sent at me, and like the only thing I've ever been like
What
really.
would you know, Riley? You albino.
The only reason I'd ever been criticized is like because of my hair color, which to be fair, I was criticized a lot for that in middle school, but like
You must be a big fan of Conor McGregor, mate.
but that's also just because I was in middle school and they picked one thing.
People are just fucking brutal in middle school.
Yeah,
like for me, it was a lot of misogyny. So like,
Yeah.
I get it. Like, and like obviously with the whole it's not my place take. Just like, if you want to say something and you can say something, there's absolutely nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
And if you can say something and you don't want to say something, there's absolutely nothing stopping you. And at the end of the day, it is no one's business but yours.
Yeah, and it's also it's not. I guess it's not my place take is the wrong word. It's not my choice.
Yeah.
It's not up to me whether or not a black person says the N-word.
Which is that's
Because
not my place.
they were oppressed. Like just straight up like.
Were you?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just that I feel like that's the end all be all, and I feel like definitionally people might get mad. I think that the definitionally slurs are when a word is used to discriminate against a group of people, and I think that is a little all inclusive. But I feel like there's a different subtext between whether or not a word is used like discriminatorily against people that are oppressed and those who are not. And I think that like I would use the word cracker as
I think
a
that's
slur.
I think that's still a slur.
I think cracker is a
Some
slur.
people might not.
I just don't think it's an offensive one.
I don't agree.
Don't
that
agree.
It is a slur.
You don't agree.
I do not.
Because she was saying they have to be oppressed. Remember you said that?
Well, kind of that.
I don't think it's
It's just
systemically acceptable. No, sorry.
I just
Go ahead.
I feel like you can't use a word and then say it's a slur without it having like enough value to be a slur.
I'll tell you what it was, Sierra. It was a failed attempt of people trying to get back at white people. White people were just like, okay.
Well, because cracker is not a I think definitionally it's a slur, but I think there's a difference obviously between the N-word and cracker.
Because
You
one
see-
has that leverage.
You want to know
doesn't.
the difference? It's really easy. N-word, cracker. It felt more impactful for me to say N-word without even saying the word than for me to say cracker. Like, there is a difference. There's a clear, distinct difference, and that is that one is used to systemically oppress people. And definitionally, I'm of the belief that cracker is a word, but I do not. Cracker is a slur, but I don't think it has any difference than saying, like, fuck or shit.
Yeah, right.
Like,
well,
You can say it, but I can't say
No,
it.
you
because
can't say it.
Listen, I don't think it should be considered a slur because if you look at like all of like the well-known slurs, cracker has no impact
It's
compared
just a
to
food that you eat.
Like obviously,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that it cannot be used as a derogatory term because in specific cases, individually it could, but in the bigger picture, it does not nearly have like an impact as like the rest of the slurs do. So it should not be considered one, and like obviously, like when it goes to saying the word, same kind of logic. If you want to say it in the context, then say it. If you don't, you don't. And it's really not a big deal either way to me.
You're not trying to be the word police over here. But I think there's also a certain qualification for a slur to be a slur, and it's to have historical context. And I feel like most words do, and I think to some credit, cracker does,
I
because
agree with that.
the word cracker comes from the term whip cracker.
Yeah.
It is meant to be known as someone that oppresses others.
Mhm.
It's it's very difficult for it to ever even be considered derogatory, because like it's calling someone an oppressor.
That's you don't want to be associated as an oppressor.
Well, sure, but also that's not oppressive. To call someone oppressor.
It's not oppressive, but it's not nice either.
Oh yeah, no one else is
no,
nice.
like,
fuck you. That's not nice.
I guess what my
it's
point
just a
is,
mean word.
is that when I say that I don't think it's a slur because it doesn't have enough weight compared to the rest of them, I agree that has historical context, and I agree that it can be used in a derogatory manner, but I don't think that casts a shadow over the word in general and makes people like you say, oh, you shouldn't say that.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Obviously, like I'm not going to call someone a cracker because I'm not comfortable with that.
Oh, you're
but
not?
Like, no, really.
Okay,
But
sorry.
But like, if someone
I know we're not allowed to say the C word.
if someone else, well, there's a difference.
I know.
C, so
I know.
anyway.
Okay.
But like, if someone called that to me, I would be like, hey, you can't say that. Like, no. Like, I don't know.
I'm just I feel I guess I'm of the mindset that some slurs are okay to say because some slurs don't have historical don't oppress people.
I just think that waters down the definition of a slur.
Here's
that's
the key
fair.
difference.
No, that is fair. No, that's a fair point.
Mm.
Is that it waters down the definition of a slur?
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well,
that's fair.
the key difference is, with the N-word, you're insulting someone's innate skin color and saying that that's something bad, so they can not ever get rid of that. With the C word, all you're doing is insulting their morality. You're
not on Twitch, you can say cracker.
You're bringing the cookies. You're bringing their character down a level. So all that does is hurt their feelings versus saying that this innate quality within you that you can't get rid of unless you want to like swim in bleach. But you can't get rid of this. That's evil versus just something you did is evil. It's worth less.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I don't know. I feel like there's some words that like you can call a slur, and I like the only reason I capitulate to that is because I don't care, because I know of them. I know that cracker is just a meanie bobini word. It's not a like an offensive thing to say.
Words are only insulting because they're societally agreed upon as insults.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard to offend me.
Yeah, I see your point there. But is there? Oh right. This all comes back to Brett Cooper.
Oh, you're right. All this
Time
from
check
alt-right.
is 6:06.
Heard. All I'll say is I will be trying not to hate watch her content because it's just garbage. I'm sorry. It's like she's just saying things that are just stupid, and like she's like they don't believe in science, and then like says something else.
Also, really does those regurgitate Ben Shapiro.
I know to
Ben Shapiro carries
a Gen Z audience,
No.
and the problem is if I go into this field, I'm gonna have to deal with her when I'm older,
Yeah.
and that just upsets me.
You can be like her polar opposite.
Ugh.
The younger now
Opposites attract.
she'll be the female
You.
Ben Shapiro and you'll be the
She's
younger.
hot. I will say that. What? Not her character.
Riley is attracted.
Not her character.
Riley is attracted to female Ben Shapiro.
Not her character.
Be serious.
Maybe I need to touch grass.
Yeah, maybe.
On No Sim September too.
Hey, Moosh, remember what you said about those like
No,
funny little clips?
say it.
No, we can cut this out. But I'm just saying, remember what you said about your funny little clips?
Oh yeah,
There's
one. Yep.
Alright.
Just hope that that doesn't come into anyone at school's feed. Just we're
not cutting this out.
I know. Alright.
Oh.
I'm being told we gotta go. So thank you so much for listening. I know this one was a bit of a ramble, but I had fun.
I had fun.
Yeah.
I think it was enjoyable, and so thank you to Moosh, Sierra, and when Zayd was here, Zayd.
Thank you.
Bye, Zayd.
Bye, Zayd. Alright, obviously check out our socials. Hopefully we'll be posting more.
Yes.
And you'll be seeing it soon. And keep in mind, keep on for the next episode, and maybe the Patreon will be coming out soon. Maybe.
Yeah.
Alright, but anyway, have a good day. See you guys.